When you hear about an abandoned train car, most people imagine nothing more than rusted steel, broken windows, and a forgotten relic of time. A place too cold, too ruined, too empty for anyone to ever call home. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video. But sometimes, life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes, in the most unlikely corners of the world, hope finds room to grow. Henry discovered this by accident. The first night he spent inside that derelict train car nearly broke him. The icy wind seeped through every crack, howling against the thin walls as if to drive him back out into the night. He had only a worn jacket and a backpack to shield himself. Curled on the grimy floor, he shivered so hard he thought his bones might snap. Each creak of the rusted metal seemed louder than the last, reminding him that he was alone and forgotten, just like the train itself. Life had not been kind to Henry. He had lost his house to foreclosure, his savings to medical bills, and finally, his sense of belonging. With nowhere else to go, he had stumbled upon this abandoned rail yard at the edge of town. When he saw the old car, hollow and still standing, something inside whispered that it could be shelter if only for a night. But as he lay there shivering, haunted by memories of warmth and laughter now gone, he wondered if he had made a mistake. At dawn, he awoke sore and aching, his breath hanging in the freezing air. Yet when the first rays of sunlight slipped through the cracked windows, something shifted. The metal walls glowed faintly in the light, and for the first time Henry saw not just decay, but possibility. He stretched his tired limbs and took a deep breath. Life had taught him to believe in second chances. Maybe this forgotten train car deserved one too. Over the next days, Henry began scavenging. The rail yard was littered with scraps, old lumber, discarded beams, even a few intact train seats. From a nearby junkyard, he bartered for tools, trading odd jobs for nails, screws, and pieces of glass. Each evening, he returned exhausted, yet filled with purpose. He patched the cracks in the walls with scraps of wood, blocking out the biting wind. He swept the dirt and debris until the floor showed its sturdy frame beneath. Little by little, the place changed. Weeks passed, and Henry's determination grew. He turned beams into shelves, old train seats into a makeshift sofa, and scraps of wood into a small table. At night, he collapsed onto his creation, tired but proud. The hollow metal box that had once felt like a coffin now began to resemble something else, something alive. But he knew he couldn't stop there. Winter was cruel, and he needed warmth. For days he searched, until he found the parts of an old wood-burning stove. With careful effort, he installed it and vented a small chimney through the roof. The first night he lit the fire, warmth spread through the car, banishing the cold shadows. For the first time in months, Henry felt hope stir inside him. Spring came, and with it, new energy. He replaced shattered windows with panes salvaged from abandoned houses. Sunlight spilled inside, brightening every corner. He set up a kitchen area, complete with shelves for food and a sink rigged to a water barrel outside. With more scavenging, he even pieced together a small solar system, enough to power a few lights and charge his phone. One morning, he stepped outside with a brush in hand. He painted the exterior a fresh shade of blue, covering the scars of rust with color. He built wooden steps leading to the sliding door, lined the path with flowers and pots, and lit it with small solar lamps. For the first time in a long time, Henry stood before something that felt like home. Word spread in the nearby town. People had whispered about the strange old man living in the rail yard, but curiosity soon overcame suspicion. Visitors came to see for themselves, and what they found astonished them. A forgotten shell of metal had been reborn, not just as a shelter, but as a story of resilience. Henry smiled when they asked how he had done it. Piece by piece, he would say softly, and each piece was another reason to keep moving forward. As the weeks turned into months, the blue train car at the edge of the rail yard became more than a home. It became a symbol. People from town began stopping by, curious at first, then supportive. Some brought food or tools, others simply came to talk. Henry, who had once felt invisible, now found himself at the center of quiet attention. Yet when the nights fell silent and the fire in his stove crackled low, he still wrestled with loneliness. His thoughts returned to the life he had lost, to the laughter of his late wife, and to the daughter he hadn't spoken to in years. One afternoon, as Henry hammered shelves inside, he heard a soft knock at the door. When he slid it open, he was surprised to see a young woman with kind eyes and a little boy clinging to her hand. "Hello," she said shyly. "I'm Sarah. This is Danny. We live nearby. He's been fascinated by your train car, and he begged me to come see it." Henry smiled, his weathered face warming as he stepped aside. Danny's eyes widened as he explored the cozy interior. He peppered Henry with questions. How did you build this? Where did you get that? Can anyone really live in a train car? Sarah watched quietly, admiration shining in her gaze. From that day on, she and Danny became regular visitors. Their company brought new life into Henry's world. He showed Danny how to plant flowers by the steps, how to sand wood for shelves, how to find beauty in scraps others threw away. The boys' laughter filled the train car, chasing away Henry's silence. For Sarah, it was comforting to see her son learn from someone so patient. And for Henry, it was a reminder that life still had gifts to give. Over time, more neighbors came. Some brought food, some offered to help with small repairs. Slowly, the man who had once shivered alone on a grimy floor now found himself surrounded by kindness. The train car became a place of community, of stories, of connection. Yet, despite the warmth of new friendships, Henry's heart carried one final ache: the distance between him and his daughter, Emma. They had not spoken in years. Misunderstandings, pride, and stubbornness had built walls higher than any he could patch with scrap wood. But watching Danny and Sarah stirred something inside him. He realized it wasn't too late, not yet. One evening, as the sun painted the rail yard in gold, Henry sat at his small table and wrote. He wrote of losing everything, of finding hope in an abandoned train car, and of the people who reminded him of the good in the world. Most of all, he wrote to Emma. He asked for forgiveness, for a chance to start over, for one more moment together. He mailed the letter the next morning, his hands trembling. Days passed, each one heavy with anticipation. Then, one afternoon, as he watered his flowers outside, Henry saw a figure approaching. His breath caught. It was Emma. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she whispered, "Dad." Henry's arms opened, and she rushed into his embrace. They held each other tightly, years of silence melting into the dirt beneath their feet. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "No," Henry whispered back. "The past is gone. What matters is now." Emma stepped back, wiping her tears, her eyes roaming over the blue-painted train car. "You did all this yourself?" Henry smiled softly. "With a little help from friends, and a lot of second chances." She squeezed his hand. "It's beautiful. I'm proud of you." In that moment, Henry felt something deeper than pride. He felt peace. The train car that had once been nothing but rust and shadows had become a home, a place of healing, and the bridge that brought his family back together. As the sun dipped low, casting warm light across the rail yard, Henry realized he had gained more than a roof over his head. He had found forgiveness, friendship, and the courage to begin again.